So welcome everyone. Thank you guys so much for being here. And today's training is for those of you who are brand new and advanced. And the reason why is because life is intense. And no matter how many cycles, how many 7 year cycles you have downloaded human design intel, it's always great to circle back around to the beginning, to the foundation, because life happens in cycles. Life happens in rotations of beginning, middle, ending, beginning, middle, ending. And so what I want to do is I want to bring the foundation piece in a new way, with a new vibration, with a new frequency, with a new level. My hair is real wild today. I'm bringing the 80s back, you guys. What do you think? I watched the Wham documentary and I kind of got obsessed because it was so friggin' nostalgic for me. Like when I was a kid, like I just remember, I never really followed the whole story, so I didn't know anything that happened. But I woke up and I thought, you know what? It's time for a resurgence of the 80s. And so in honor of that, I flipped my hair just a little bit so I could have a big hair day. So if anyone else is feeling like the joy of the 80s, I think we should start a trend. Okay, so everybody go ahead and let's do this together. Take a breath in with me. And let's bring our attention into the power of this moment. I want you to just feel the energy, feel the excitement, feel the enthusiasm of everybody coming together to show up, to be present, to learn, to explore, to self-actualize. What happens when we stand up and we show up and we say yes to the universe for growth, for expansion, for higher education, for learning, for knowledge, for personal development, for awakening? What happens when we stand up and we say yes? We are ready. We are ready to awaken to our highest potential. We are ready to live our truth. We are ready to let go of fear, doubt, insecurity. We are ready to let go of lack and limitation, which is not our truth. What happens when we stand up and we say divine spirit, God, angels, divination energy, frequency of the divine highest 5D light? What happens when we call in our guides and whatever energy and frequency that you feel connected to that is beyond the mind? What happens when you call it and you surrender and you say yes to something bigger? What happens to you when you say yes to something bigger than the limiting piece of the mind? Is we transcend and awaken and we step into this something called passenger consciousness that is being birthed through this knowledge. I want you guys to feel that. And breathe in with me and connect to everybody that is here. Go ahead, take a breath in. And I would love for you guys to type in the chat one word when you're coming back in here now. One word from that experiment and that experience and from where you are tuning in from. Where are you in the world? Because I felt everybody from all over the world. I felt you guys. Tell me where you are tuning in from. I want to tell you a little bit about human design. I'm going to say this in a new way for anybody who's been in the experiment for a while. And for those of you who are new, I'm going to introduce you to human design. Okay, so some of the things that we're going to talk about today is, what does your aura look like? I want to talk to you about why human design is different from astrology and the chakra system and all the other pieces. I want to tell you about why this human design piece is so important. I want to tell you about your GPS system and what happens when you are defined and undefined and what that means. So, one of the things that makes human design really different is the fact that we take astrology, the chakra system, and the Kabbalah, the ancient wisdom of the I Ching, and merge it into a grounded, earth-based, practical information that you can utilize in your life day in and day out. And the way I see this is, one, astrology looks up to the stars. Astrology is our outward symbolic experience with all of these energies that are within us through our life. And human design then grounds it by bringing in the earth. And then it brings it into the DNA strands and the codons that are existing within your body. And it shows you how to read your code like a book, how to read your purpose, how to read your aura in a way that no other system can show you. So what does your aura look like? Did you know that your aura is different shapes and has a different impact in the world than other auras? Okay. So if you guys don't know and you're brand new to human design, this picture is really helpful. And this is something that a lot of people have told me about when they were looking at some of the human design imagery. And this is a picture made by Davidian, who's my partner. He's so good. He makes all these amazing images. And it kind of helps you see how your aura is interacting with the world. Okay, let's learn about it, because I want you guys to understand these pieces and these dynamics so you can feel into how this is operating in your life, and you can feel in the depth of what is going on. And I want to give you guys something today. I want to give you a piece to the puzzle that you don't have. I want to give you something that you can dig into and explore today that you did not have before coming into this live event. And that's for all of my people, whether you are advanced or beginning. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to open up the energy for 1 minute, and I want you guys to feel the frequency of the generator fuel. Now, the generator fuel is frequency that you can feel whether you are defined or undefined. Okay, so the manifesting generator and the generator have a fuel. The fuel is like gold. It is precious. It is the frequency with which all of the world is running on. It is the energy, the existence, the sex, the workforce, the freaking love, the stuff that makes the world go around. And guess what? We all get to feel it. We all get to vibrate in that frequency of it. Now, when it's healthy, the generators are vibing in satisfaction. When it's healthy, they're like, ooh, I love my life. I'm feeling good. I'm satisfied. I love to go to work. I'm existing, and I'm waking up, and I'm doing my cartwheels down the hall because my life is so good. And guess what? All of you manifestors, all of you projectors, and all of you reflectors feel the zing of the satisfaction. And what's healthy for you is you say to yourself, ooh, that feels good. And I love that feeling. And I'm not going to let it control me. I'm not going to let it rule me, because for the projectors, for the reflectors, and for the manifestors, this energy is not yours. You can feel it though, and it is amazing. But you cannot rely on it. It's not consistent within you. And so you have to be able to let it go and trust that when the energy comes forward for you, that's what's correct. And so when you don't listen to that force, then projectors, your not self theme pops up. You get bitter. You're running around, you're trying to keep up. You want to be a part of the generator world and the generator fuel. You're trying. You are trying. But you're not here to be a generator. And thank God we're giving you the ticket to experiment so you can stop living as a generator, because we all live as our not self. So generators and manifesting generators, you are trying to be a manifester. You're like, I'm going to go out there and make shiz happen. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to create my life. And because of the law of attraction, everything we're learned and everything that we've been told, that's what happens. That's what happens. Generators go out there and try and do it. And then the generators fall into the muck. And they feel frustrated. Manifestors are so angry because they've been trained to be generators. They're overworking. They're working 9 to 5. They start things that they can't get out of, and they take it all on. So you can see why things are a little effed up in the world right now. So, how many of you are living your strategy? Type in the chat. How many of you are living your strategy? Generators and manifesting generators, you wake up, you're here to respond. Projectors, you're here to wait for the recognition. Manifestors, you are here to inform in the moment when it's time for you to freaking make shit happen. Reflectors, you are here to taste, reflect, sample, and wait is hard. It's not easy. Okay, you're experimenting, Lauren. Yeah, it's not easy. Oh, I'm so proud of you guys, though, for doing it. I'm so proud of you all for trying it, because it's freaking hard. When you do start experimenting with your strategy, your inner authority is like having your own personalized GPS system in your car. It's like, you don't know why, when you're driving in a foreign city and you put the address in and it's like, okay, you need to turn right up ahead. And you don't really know why, because you don't know the city and you don't know the structure, but you trust the GPS system. And what happens for most people with their inner authority is they're like, okay, inner authority, I'm going to listen to you. But this is my job and this is what I do every day. And if I don't do it, then, I'm not going to make any money. And your inner authority, you're like, should I be at this job? And the inner authority is like, And so that's your GPS system telling you to turn left. But you're like, oh my God, I am not leaving this job. It's just been too good for me. I make too much money. I don't want to be broke. I don't know what to do. And your inner authority is like, and you're like, okay, stop it. I don't want to hear from you. And you like friggin' push it down and you're like, okay, give me a glass of wine and let's watch the Wham documentary and let's forget about that whole thing called human design, because it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And your inner authority is like, right? And you're like, just be quiet. And that's what's going on. So then what happens if you were listening to your GPS system and it's like, please turn right ahead. And you're like, you're sitting in your car and you're like, no, I'm not going to turn right there. And then you like go the other way, you go left, and your GPS is really gentle and calm. And it's like, no, please just, turn around here, go right. And it's just constantly like, okay, go right here, go right here. And you're like, going in circles and not reaching your destination, and all kinds of crazy stuff is happening. And it's so easy to joke about this, but it's freaking harder than all get up. If you are in the midst of being lost in a city and you don't know where you are, and your mind is really like, I don't think the GPS is right, and it's dark and you're confused and you don't feel like you can stay on that path. You need to go somewhere for safety. Most of us will follow the mind, because it's scary out there, and we don't realize that the trust comes at the darkest hour. The trust comes when you are at your lowest moment. The trust comes when you don't let your mind go chaos, when you've tried everything and nothing's working for you, and you've thought your inner authority is telling you to do this business but no money's coming in and you have this bill to pay. And then it's so easy not to trust. It's so easy to say this is crazy, but that's when you have to double down, is when it's that moment when you're out on a limb and you're already swimming, and you're already in the middle of the lake and you want to turn back. But there's a part of you that's, go to the other side, go to the, you're almost there, go. And you guys, this is not easy. I am telling you, this is the path of the warrior. This is the warrior spirit. This is the intensity of living life that is outside the matrix. This is the intensity of saying no to what you were told to do as children, what your boss is telling you to do, what your teachers told you to do, what the societal pressures are for you to do. This is the unraveling of all of that. But guess what? Doesn't mean that you have to be broke. It doesn't mean that you don't get all of the ease and the grace and the fluid unfolding. As a matter of fact, what your GPS system is doing is taking you to the truth of your soul, the truth of your existence, the truth of who you are, which is living your purpose, okay, in abundance. That means generators doing your work in the world that you love and not being afraid that the money won't come, because the money is there for you. Projectors, it means you go to sleep when you're freaking tired. And you don't have to work a full day. I was just talking to one of my BFFs and she's like, I can't believe I only work 2 days a week from 9 to 5. And I just can't believe how blessed I am. It's just so great. And I'm thinking 9 to 5, you gotta be freaking kidding me. I couldn't even do that. I could not even get up and go from 9 to 5. That's how different my design is. I couldn't do it. And yet, like, for her, that's just like the most amazing thing. And I'm like, thank God I know this now, because I can't tell you how many times I was just expected to, like, okay, show up here at 9, okay, and be able to handle it. And then, you're like, what is wrong with me? Why can't I handle it? Why can't I do this? Well, because you're not designed to. But guess what? Once you break free and you trust your GPS, then you as a projector will be led to work that defines you, represents you in a way where you will feel like you can handle it. As a matter of fact, you will only work a few hours a day because projectors will get their work done in like 3 hours a day. You're going to freaking love it and you're going to be rich. That's what human design is saying. Human design is saying this is the human grid. Okay. This is the human grid. There is no, there is some struggle. Okay. But there's no murder. There's no suffering. There's no lack here. Sure, we have to learn about money, that money comes from response, that money comes from being in alignment with how that sacral operating, whether you're defined or undefined. Sure. But there's no poverty in this chart. There's no suffering here. This is the human existence that's been born through ancient I Ching model Kabbalah and the astrology systems and the chakra systems and the ancient and the neutrino quantum physics sciences. This is our human evolution, you guys. It is here to say that frigging suffering thing, like that's gone. That's gone. But do you have the courage to listen to your GPS and follow it when your mind's telling you that's not right? That's not what your mother told you. That's not what your teachers told you. That's not going to work. Pamela says, my husband as a projector has mastered the art of sleep. I love it. That's the best. I'm so good at sleeping. Everyone's like, the worst thing that people suffer from is insomnia. I'm like, not me. Okay, let me show you guys a little bit of your chart. Now, the things that I have highlighted are the sun in the personality here in the side on the right where it's black. That's the sun and the earth. And then over here in the red is the sun and the earth, and that is called your incarnation cross because it's 70% of the neutrino stream. The neutrino stream is an energy that is moving through all of the stars, all of the earth. It's an energy that's been proven in science that moves through and then goes and bombards our system and moves through our bodies a rate of influence and power and information. And so the sun and the earth is 70%, and that makes sense, right? It's what we are standing on and what we are getting our energy from. And that's what I love. Human design is a practical tool. It's not just the spiritual channeling and the spiritual energy, which is a part of human design, believe it or not. It is telling you who your guides are, how to listen to them, how to bring your education through, but it's also saying how to exist here on the earth plane and not just be in the flow and not just listen to the new age, which I love, and the spiritual woo, which I love, but it's not just listening to that information because that can be confusing. Because like in the new age, it'll say, listen to your inner authority, listen to your intuition, okay, or follow your heart, but these are very different things. In human design, when you're emotional, you cannot listen to your intuition in the moment. And what happens for most emotional beings is they don't know this. And so they're spontaneous because they've been taught to make spontaneous decisions. That will really F up an emotional being, but I watch it happen all the time. These emotional beings that are deep and profound and slow that need to wait, they're forced to make a quick decision. CEOs make quick decisions, fast decisions. That's what they tell you. That's what those billionaires tell you, to make a fast decision. And then you're emotional and you think, oh man, I got to make a fast decision. And guess what? You're thrown into chaos. Why didn't that work out for me? Well, because you're emotional. What does that even mean? Because I don't feel emotional. That's because you've shut down all of your emotions because the undefined being is pushing them down because they don't want you to feel, because we then have to process all those freaking emotions. Who of you are emotional here? Because I want to tell you guys something. You emotional beings. Mm, 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 mm. Was that the first 55 years of your life? Yeah. I honestly believe that if we just knew this one little piece of human design, the emotional from the undefined, okay? If we just knew this one little piece, if we just let the emotional beings feel their feelings and the undefined emotional beings knew that it wasn't theirs and that they were empathic and absorbing and amplifying, you guys, we would heal the planet right there. We would heal the planet. So I want you guys to know that when you're emotional and you feel your feelings, when you're undefined and you let those feelings move through you and you observe, you are doing your part on the planet. You are doing your part on the planet to heal the planet. You guys, that's how powerful this is and how simple it is. How simple it is. It's infinitely simple and infinitely complex, just like sacred geometry. It's infinitely simple, and infinitely complex. Now, the other thing I want to talk about today is our centers and how important it is to understand that your vehicle is going through an upgrade. In a lot of spiritual communities, they call this moving from 3D to 5D. And what we say in our household, me and Davidian, is that this is your superhero suit that you didn't have directions for. And now we're giving you the directions on how to fly in this aura, in your aura. Okay, this is your frigging bubble. This is your supersonic suit. And we're saying, okay, look, here is your operation manual. Involuntary, right? Exactly. We are evolving, and you can either suffer or have fun. Now, there's of course a lot of other tools on the planet that you can use. You know, there's tons of tools for healing and Reiki and tapping and all these amazing things. And that's part of the evolutionary stage we're in, is that there's tools. So really though, if you're not self-actualizing though in this day and age, I'm sorry, because you're suffering. I'm sorry for the pain. You think it's about just making money and just having a career, and it's just friggin' not. It's about self-actualizing and awakening and evolving. And there is information available for you right here and right now to awaken and self-actualize. And you guys, I mean, how freaking huge is that? You're getting it. You're getting these tools. And as far as I'm concerned, even though you do have to learn a little bit in order to understand human design, okay? You do have to learn a little bit, okay? It's a tool that is very simple. And yes, you can study it and study it and study it and study it, and it will break down for as many years as you want to friggin' study it. If you're like me and you love to learn and you want to, like, you're just hungry for more information, and but you want something that's interesting, that makes you wake up and like, I can't wait to read more. I want to read more. I want more. I want more. I want more. It's freaking addictive, as some of my clients have told me. It's addictive. I want more information. And but the thing is, to me, is like, I love waking up wanting to learn something. What is the what happens when you don't? You're like, what do I do with my life? Like, I mean, I'm sure there's a million other things to do, but in my world, it's like, give me more knowledge. And the great thing is, it doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter what you've done before, it doesn't matter any of these things. It just matters, are you brave enough to look at yourself in a new way? Are you brave enough to take on the experiment? Are you brave enough? Are you brave enough to try it? Right? So, the conditioning element. The question is not just who are you, okay? Because that's what we study. Who am I? What am I feeling? We look inside. But the question is, who are you being that is not you? What have you taken on? What do you believe is you? Now, I know many people who are spiritual and they have done a lot of work on themselves. And they think they've completed their deconditioning process, and maybe they have. But what happens in human design is that where you are white, you absorb, amplify, distort through the thinking mind. And the thinking mind becomes who you are. But it's not your truth. Now, to quiet the mind, I think I've seen 3 people on the planet, maybe 4. And I'm going to throw out a couple of famous people like Byron Katie. She's completely mastered the mind. Michael Singer, Eckhart Tolle. These are people who had awakenings and have silenced the mind. And that's what human design is saying is our passenger consciousness. But it's showing you exactly through your map how to understand this. And so what it's doing is it's giving your mind something to do while you get there if you didn't wake up and have an awakening like Eckhart Tolle. If you didn't wake up and are enlightened, here's your frigging directions. Here's where you're getting stuck. Here's where you need to let go of your mind a little bit more. Okay, so where you are defined, you're conditioning the other, and where the other is defined, they are conditioning you. So we are being conditioned all day and all night, unless you sleep alone, unless you live alone, and you hide from all the neutrino streams, and you wear a tinfoil hat when you go outside so you don't get any. No, I'm just joking. We're being conditioned all the time. Okay, it's a part of the process. But what you have to learn how to do is how to be a passenger and witness the conditioning element and not let it rule you. Not let it rule you. So, what I want to leave you guys with today is the power of what happens when we step into the passenger consciousness. The power when you are aware and conscious of your own GPS system and your own map. Because what begins to happen is you start being downloaded with information and awareness that is not the mind. It's a knowing, and it's a vibration, and it's a frequency of higher knowledge, higher wisdom. And it begins to move through your system and guide your life outside of the matrix. It guides your life being unplugged from the drama, the fear, the manipulation that we are in right now, where we are told what to do and told what's best for us. it pops you out, and you realize that you are the only one who knows what is best for your life, best for your health, best for your finances, best for your wisdom, for the frequency. And then you feel that, and you're in the zone. And then you use the knowledge and the tools of your inner authority, so that while you're in the practical day-to-day world, you know what to do next. You know how to live, you know what to do. So I'm going to do a shameless plug for my book. Okay, so the Are You a Mutant live event is a book launch for my book. I do want to tell you guys a little bit about the book if you are curious to learn about it. So basically, it is my story of human design. It's my personal journey, and I take you through the basics in a way that anyone will be able to follow along. I also bring forward some of the biz by design, a little bit of the penta, and really the most important piece, which is the 2027 information and how to prepare for this change of the wheel, which is happening in 2027. You need to understand how to decondition. And so the process is everything you need to prepare you. And the question is, are you a mutant? Because the truth is, we all are. We all are outsiders. We all are unique. We all are different. Not one person is the same. Because even if, you have identical twins, the base is different, and how you utilize your inner authority is different. And so what human design is the art of differentiation. And so this is the celebration of your uniqueness and the celebration of how unique you are. Oh my God, you're an identical twin. So I would love to study the identical twins. I had a couple of people tell me about that. And one of the things that they told me was, like, let's say we have two sacral identical twins. Their inner authority completely for completely two different things. So no two are the same. No two purposes are the same. So it's really exciting. All right, so thank you guys for being here live. I hope you all got a little piece of something. Even for those of you who are advanced, who've been here for a while, I hope I provided you with a little piece of a little something that you have not recognized before, seeing something in a new way, but also maybe just feeling a little bit more deeply into the foundation piece. Because I have to tell you, as a projector, my life is really a process of unraveling the generator fuel and aligning to recognition, which is what we're here to do as projectors. And the process is always unraveling within me. And the more I speak it, the more I lean into it, the more I share it with the world, the easier and easier it gets for me to live as a projector. But it has not always been a super easy path, but it is one that has been super amazing, and one that I love with such a deep, deep part of my heart. And so I want to thank you guys so much for everybody who is here, who's shared, who's commented, who is a part of this journey. I'm so happy to have you, Poppy. You want to know more? That's what today is about, is to get you guys inspired to know more, to want to know more. And that's really like why this is so important, because in 2027, we need to understand that if a projector is not recognized and a generator is not satisfied, we're all going to suffer. If a manifestor isn't starting and a reflector isn't playing, we all have to know this stuff in order for every single type to play their role. So thank you guys for spreading the word. Thank you for being here. I love you guys all so much. Mwah. Thank you for being here, and I'll see y'all next week. Bye, everyone.
I've seen the greatest minds of Generation X, Y, Z, and Millennials spin out into madness. The madness of conspiracies that left them reeling in confusion. So here's to those who think calmly outside the box. Here's to the wild women, men, and multidimensional androgyny, the stars, seed, the artists, the misfits, the outcasts, the rebels. They always know how to bend the rules. See a line but not follow it. Notice the path but go a different way. See through the layers of darkness, control, manipulation, and confusion. You can knock them down from the pedestal, call them names, or maybe quote their genius. You sometimes glorify them or make fun of them, but what you cannot do is make them fall into place. These are the people who, once they break the common boundary, they mutate things, create a new path for others to follow behind. You might notice them as the freaks, but that's not what we see. We see the brilliance in them, because those dreamers who believe something needs to be different and demand to live uniquely as themselves rather than follow along are the ones who change the world. Here's to those misfits. We see your genius. Outcasts, artists, rebels, lightworkers, I am calling you. And for those of you who don't know, I'm asking you, are you a mutant too?